Biafra. The authorities in Abuja do. And we need to recognize that reality. Too often, the State Department, the European Union, the African Union defer to the powerful against the weak. But that's not how human rights work. When it comes to the abuses of the Nigerian government, they must be held to account. When Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Muhammadu Buhari, the former president of Nigeria and a war criminal from the days of the first Biafra genocide, he took Nigeria off the State Department's religious freedom watch list. The United States and all other countries must calibrate our policies towards the reality of the way things are, rather than the way we wish things would be. The fact of the matter is, on any watch list for religious freedom, Nigeria should be on its blacklist. It should be its worst tier, because reality cannot be ignored, nor should human rights of all those in Biafra be swept under the bus. Frankly, if Nigeria spent as much energy hunting the perpetrators of violence against the Igbos as they do pressuring Finland to punish the free speech of Biafra's leaders, Nigeria would be a much better place. Unfortunately, rather than reform, rather than embrace liberty, rather than embrace self-determination, Nigeria seems to embrace transnational repression. And that is why all Biafra activists in Finland should be free. Now, a lot of people will look at Biafra and say, you know, we've never heard of Biafra. That reflects their ignorance and their ignorance of history, rather than the necessary reality. But then you will have some naysayers who will say, why are you declaring independence, redeclaring independence in Finland rather than in Biafra itself? And again, that reflects an ignorance of history for those who might criticize. After all, Czechoslovakia declared its independence in Washington, D.C., right near where I sit now. And no one suggested that the Czechs and the Slovaks didn't deserve their freedom. The fact of the matter is, when one faces a lethal threat and lethal repression, you need to assert your freedom wherever you may be, but that doesn't forfeit your rights to your homeland. So, when it comes to Biafra, what I see is everything being done right. Let me put it this way. Again, I say this as an academic. I've been to many places around the world in which people desire their freedom. I've been to Iraqi Kurdistan, Turkish Kurdistan, and Syrian Kurdistan. And I've written a book where, while I empathize with the Kurds, they are not yet ready for independence because they have not taken the basic steps to form a unitary government that can step into the vacuum on day one and lead their people. That is something that the Biafrans have, a mistake the Biafrans have not made. What I see today with the organization of the Biafrans has been absolutely and completely admirable. You are not simply symbolically declaring independence. You are setting in motion a government which can take over all functions of the government. Now, some people may complain that Biafra now has its own army, and they may say that is a terrorist action. They are wrong. It is the job of any government to monopolize the use of force within its territory. The Nigerian army is the occupying army right now. Its job is not to monopolize the use of force within Biafra, because they have shown when they use force, they use it not for security, but to perpetrate insecurity. They use it to murder, they use it to rape, they use it to charter buses, to bring in militias, so that naive people may believe that they have nothing to do with what is going on in the region. Now, I'm a historian by training, which means I get paid to predict the past. Also, speaking of pay, let me be clear. I am receiving nothing for my advocacy for Biafra. I have been offered nothing, I have demanded nothing, and I am receiving nothing. Nor would it even be legal for me to accept money from anyone. I am speaking only as an analyst and only as someone who wants to further liberty. Now, I ask as a historian, where has it worked to force the victims of genocide together with their perpetrators? Where in history has that ever worked? Aggressors must understand that if they turn to genocide, they will always lose. The fact of the matter is, Nigeria lost Biafra in 1967. They may have won the war temporarily, but they permanently lost Biafra. The decisions they made 57 years ago forfeited any rights they have to control, to occupy, to speak on behalf of the people of Biafra. Let me conclude by saying, as an analyst again, I don't think the United States will be the first country to recognize Biafra. But I pray that it won't be the third country either. Biafra to move from Finland and to lobby vociferously, night and day, in order to ensure that the African Union recognizes that Biafra is already more organized, already more capable of statehood, already will have a higher standard of living, already will be at peace with itself and its neighbors more than many other African countries. And therefore, it will be a boon to Africa, a boon to the African Union, a boon to the spread of democracy in the region, an anchor for stability in the region, in an area that is increasingly unstable, especially as people come from the north in order to destabilize. So let me conclude by saying with my very short remarks that I wish I could be with you there today. Family prevented me from coming, but I admire what you're doing, I follow what you're doing, and I pray for what you're doing. Long live Biafra.
Biafra had its independence 1967 through 1970. It was shortly, thanks but not thanks, to the Nigerian government that betrayed the trust of the Biafran people. And because of that, a very brutal civil war has been incited, and it did not have a good ending. The Biafran people and the Eritrean people, Eritrea gained from Ethiopia after 31 years war, and many lives have been lost on both sides. At birth of our armed struggle, we were called all sorts of names, including we were terrorists. But we were not terrorists. We were freedom fighters. And at this juncture, I see similarities that they're going to name or tag a name on the freedom fighters of the Biafrans as terrorists. They are not terrorists. They are freedom fighters. As we know, yes, freedom is not free. It requires for us to pay a price. Now, Biafrans, for what we're doing, we just need to go to the next or shift to the higher gear. Renew our promises, renew our pledge to double down our efforts to stick together and give it all. Because I think this is the time. Today is the time, but not tomorrow. So we should be ready to make any sacrifice that it demands. For the rest of the world, just to give you a hint of our background, why the Biafrans are looking for their independence. In 1960, Nigeria became independent from the United Kingdom, as with many nations of Africa. But the country's borders did not reflect earlier ethnic, cultural, religious, or political boundaries. Thus, the country's northern region, which has Muslims majority, primarily comprised of the indigenous Sokoto Caliphate territory, the southern population is predominantly Christian, and many consists of the territory of the indigenous Yoruba and the Igbos states in the west and east. Following independence, Nigeria was demarcated primarily along ethnic lines, which are the Hausa, the Fulani, the Yoruba, and the Igbo majority in the east. In that time, of course, there was ethnic tensions which simmered in Nigeria during the discussion of the independence. And it led to several ethnic and religious riots. Biafra was partially recognized, actually was fully recognized in that 1967 and 1970. And we had some good friends. That was like Gabon, Haiti, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Zambia. These are officially recognized the Biafran nation. That recognized as de facto recognition from France, Portugal, Israel, South Africa, and Rhodesia. Therefore, we are still looking for those friends to show up. History repeats itself. So, as we do our fight, we should always remember who our friends are and who our enemies are. Despite it all, despite all these crimes by the Nigerian government, the Igbo nationalism, however, it became a solid political and social force.
Most of them came and begged Tinubu to let Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lose. I want to ask Nigerian people, the people who are writing me, what really did Nnamdi Kanu do that Sunday Igboho did not do, that Sowore did not do? What really did he do? What offense? Because he's just an Igbo man. That is just the offense. Because he's an Igbo man. And you don't want us to rise in Nigeria. And still yet you want us to become one. You people, let me say this. Let me say this to you people. You have failed. Anybody who is talking about one Nigeria is not. His head is not working well. Yaya Bello that stole billions of naira. Look at how they are petting him. But somebody stole chicken and egg. And a judge in Lagos, sitting in Lagos, sentenced this young boy to death. You people saw it. When you see evil, you paint evil. But when you see things, people telling the truth, you want to crucify them, kill them, make them your slaves. And that's we say it's not going to happen anymore. Under our watch, it's not going to happen. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a freedom fighter, as well as Mazi Simon Ekpa. And I want to debunk that lie from the Nigerian gutter media that there is no arrest whatsoever that is carried out by the Finnish authority under Simon Ekpa today. No arrest. Foolish people. The convention has started. We invited the people to come to Finland to join us, since you could not come to, debunk most of the lies, most of the things that Simon Ekpa brought against you. You are quick to bribe people. You people are devil. You are heartless. Nigerian government, you are heartless, I said. Look at Mwike, turned himself to mini God in Abuja, destroying lives and properties. You didn't see that. It is Mazi Simon Ekpa that is fighting for his people. That is who you are fighting. That is who you think you can fight. People are dying of starvation in Nigeria. People are dying of, diseases. No light, no good school, no good road, no good water, no good food. Price of food is skyrocketing. You pay deaf ear. But the one that the Biafrans are doing is the one that you want to attack. That is your problem. We are in a bad marriage. Let us go. Mba.
The British have never faced justice. That is why they still run around the world pretending to tell us what to do. One of the most painful statements that I ever heard in my life was from former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, when he said that Africa is a scar on the conscience of the world. How dare he? It is because we have never asked them to answer for their atrocities. The day they do, they will know that we are truly angry. They have never. And that is why some of us are very serious about this whole idea of reparations and proper apology. They have never apologized.
Nigeria is a big lie.
A big lie?
Yes. I want to substantiate my claim of saying Nigeria is a big lie. Please, listen to Tafawa Balewa, Nigeria's first prime minister, in 1948. I quote him, "Since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, religious beliefs, and customs, and do not show themselves any signs or willingness to unite. Nigerian unity is only a British invention." Tafawa Balewa, 1948. Yeah. Okay. Now listen to Nnamdi Azikiwe, 1964. "It is better for us and many admirers abroad that we should disintegrate in peace and not in pieces. Should the politicians fail to heed this warning, then I will venture the prediction that the experience of the Democratic Republic of Congo will be a child's play if ever it comes to our turn to play such a tragic role." Nnamdi Azikiwe, 1964. Obafemi Awolowo. "Nigeria is not a nation. It is a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same context as there are English, Scots, and Welsh."
Okay.
1947.
Oloye Lokan Alabi.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Christy TV. Wahala, they say it be like bicycle, my correct people them. Biafran people has taken it by force to liberate themselves from the hands of one Nigeria. One Nigeria is no longer working. Every part of Nigeria wants to live on its own. But the so-called Nigerian politicians and leader doesn't want to disengage from this so-called Nigerian marriage. My correct people, them you all hear from the horse's mouth, even from the elderly one, the last person that spoke, you heard from him, and how this Nigerian came into emancipation. The thing is that majority of young Nigerians out there are not even interested in the history of Nigerian emancipation. They only care about the groove of social media. My correct people them. Nigeria is very diverse in not just only in language. The tribes are too verbose to come together as one. Different peoples or different ideologies from different background, from different culture, from different traditions and beliefs coming together, being forced to become one by so-called white people. Now the question is, does it mean that we African doesn't reason? Does it mean as black people we cannot make our choice? Does it mean we only value the lives of the white men? Does it mean we only value colonial masters? No. The colonial masters are only interested in what they will benefit in your oneness. They don't care how you people are suffering. They don't care if you people are actually doing well or not. The only thing they care about is their own benefits. My correct people then. To even shame us at the moment. Are you even aware that the so-called Nigerian government promised Finland to give them oil for free for good 60 years? Just for them to end everything that had to do with Mazin Simon Ekpa. But unfortunately for them, after all this investigation of terrorism, it was now discovered that Simon Ekpa is innocent of all these allegations levied against him by the Nigerian government and the fake IPOB people. My correct people, them no be smart, I see they sup and I see they happen. Biafran Convention, which took place since 28th of November 29th of November 2024, which is 2 days ago. Today is the third day of this particular convention. Tomorrow, which is the official day of Biafran declaration as a nation, being declared as United States of Biafra. USA are already recognizing Biafrans. Eritrea are already recognizing Biafra as a nation. Same goes to other countries of the world. They are also recognizing Biafrans as a nation. My correct people, them to tell you that the hardship in Nigeria is the looming and it's quite too much. Everything in the Nigerian economy is shaking. The so-called Nigerian government doesn't even do proper investigation before giving out any vital information to Nigerians to know if what they are doing is good or not. Look at what happened recently. The so-called Port Harcourt refinery. What is wrong with it? It cannot produce PMS, which is necessary for Nigerian survival, since the so-called Nigerian government cannot give innocent Nigerians constant electricity light. So many things are shaking and going badly in the system of Nigeria. Since this one Nigeria is not working, the best way and the best solution for us to embrace peace and unity is for us to go our different ways. Yes, so going our different way does not mean that we are going to fight, does not mean we are going to kill ourselves, but going separately, peacefully. But the so-called Nigerian politicians refuse blatantly, rather they choose to manipulate and engage in war with Biafran people. And Biafran people, not before Biafran people began to defend their lands, Nigerian government has started killing them immensely, which now fears them, which now prompted them to create their own military to defend their own land. Are you seeing it? This is how Biafran people take their freedom by fire by force. My correct people, them Nigerian government and its corruption, its enormous is too much. My correct people dem, make una tell us in the comment section wetin una gat to talk. Dis Biafran liberation, they are taking their freedom by fire by force, and today is the third day of their convention as they are doing everything humanly possible to liberate themselves from Nigerian. My correct people, some people are even kicking against it, some are even laughing at them, some are saying, what are you doing? You are looking at multiple people, multitude of people gathering and seeking for their freedom, and you as a person, you are in one social media app in your own page, be laughing at them, criticizing them. What are you criticizing them for? They know exactly what they are doing. Ndị Igbo si na agbakọta aka nyụọ mamịrị ọgbọ ọfụfụ. When people come together and we, the thing will form sharply. And you think that this thing has now become somebody that is just in his room. You normally say to my Simon Ekpa, that Simon Ekpa is just in his house, creating content, finishing image, or doing this, doing that, talking about Biafra. Now, is he still in a room? Is it still one person that is doing it? Is it still only Simon Nnamdi is doing it, or is it only Master Simon Ekpa that is doing it now? Now you have seen the multitude of people of different calibers, people that are doing many reputable jobs in different countries, coming together in Finland to proclaim the declaration and to support the declaration and referendum of Biafran as a nation. The United States of Biafra referendum. My correct people dem, at least if you don't see anything in these good steps of Biafran people, see their boldness. No freedom comes so easily. For you to get your freedom, for instance, if it happen that someone is chasing you or you've been locked up somewhere and you want to get your freedom, will you get your freedom by sleeping? Will you get your freedom by begging? If you begging your kidnappers to free you, they are not going to free you. You have to observe when maybe when they are asleep or when they have gone out, then re-strategize yourself, look at how to survive, look at how to escape. So you must be fierce, forcefully liberate yourself. If you are not strong enough to liberate yourself, automatically the people that kidnap you will buy you there. So this is what Igbo people are doing at the moment. Fiercely taking their land by fire by force, fiercely liberating themselves from the hands of the Nigerian government and from the hands of colonial masters, which pretend. Britain doesn't want anything good to happen to Nigeria. That is why they don't want to disengage themselves from anything that has to do with Nigerian affairs. And now they know that they are owing Africans apology. The Westerners, the white people owe Africans apology. They expected to apologize to Africans for all the oppressors, for all the marginalization they have caused in African continent, especially that of Biafran war between Nigeria and Biafra in the year 1967. My correct people, them good things are now happening. And now the Biafran's flag has risen in all Biafran lands, in Biafran schools, all over the world. Yes, so my correct people them, make una do well to subscribe and stay tuned for more. Wetin dey good, dey good. If you see good thing, appreciate am. Talk say the thing dey good. Don't be an enemies of progress. Say na true I say make I tell una now. Make una subscribe and stay tuned so that you get notified whenever I publish new latest content. Christy TV continue cover. Don't forget to drop your comment in the comment section.